Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we got some big gaming news we're going to cover on the main channel here. Ubisoft is spinning out a new unit for Assassin's Creed and other games. Tencent's going to take a huge cut of that. It sounds to me like they are pulling a spinco like they did with Comcast, where they're basically...
That's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is... So they're not outright selling the company. They're not outright selling the IP, but they're going into business with Tencent, which is really one foot in the grave. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, you kept saying that that's probably what was going to happen, that it was going to be Tencent that would be coming in to swoop it in and try to take it. But yeah.
They buy everybody. And this is the only way that they can save themselves, because Ubisoft is in a bad place. And just a couple of days ago, there was this article making the rounds and people were pissed off about it because the game's good, guys. They said, yeah, even if Assassin's Creed Shadows is good, even if it had, a decent sales numbers, player count, however because they're not calling it sales, they're calling it players. We had 2 million players, and this is why
that doesn't mean they bought all. That doesn't mean all the games were purchased. Yeah,
this is not enough to save them, right? They needed consistent hits after hit after hit after hit, and they've been taking hit after hit. And the reason I think they've been trying so hard to do damage control for Assassin's Creed is this deal was in play behind the scenes. And they didn't want to jeopardize it, because if Assassin's Creed is not worth anything, then Tencent's not going to swoop in and save their asses.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, and that's it. So I don't know. It's a very interesting move, but it does remind me of Spinco.
We're going to talk about the spin. Then we're going to talk about, Assassin's Creed Shadows, the official X account going after Elon Musk and all that. I covered it a little bit on the Clownfish Gaming channel yesterday, but I don't think they give a shit, because most of these people I think are going to be gone. And it sounds like, if you read between the lines, what the memo from the CEO says, it sounds like a lot of the people working on these games now are going to be gone.
Well, so are they going to be like jettisoning these people with the stuff that they're not keeping?
Well, we're going to read this. It sounds like this is... Look, companies, when they restructure, when they reorganize, they want to keep their employees as long as they can keep them until they're ready to get rid of them. And this sounds like appeasement to me.
Yeah, oh, it's fine, wink, wink. You're not going anywhere, wink, wink.
Right.
Stay until we don't need you anymore.
Exactly.
Screws to you, wink, wink.
Exactly. And I've been there before. I've been on the receiving end of that before, where it was like you knew you were going to get gone. You're just waiting for the axe to fall. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So yeah, I said before, Clownfish Gaming. Go out to Clownfish Gaming. I've been doing live streams a couple times a week out there. We're eventually going to do some here on the main channel as well. We just got to work out a schedule. So thank you very much for that. So just the other day, Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't the hit Ubisoft desperately needs, according to analysts. People are like, and here we are. Ubisoft spins out new unit for Assassin's Creed and other games, Tencent to take $1.25 billion stake. So they announced on Thursday it's setting up a new subsidiary that's going to focus on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six.
We're going to set up a subsidiary that's going to take all the properties that matter that's tied to Tencent, and then for a while until we get rid of the rest.
Yes.
And then we'll have a new company that is tied to Tencent, and then we'll
right. It's not an outright sale, but companies tend to do this. It's how they basically...
We've talked about before. Yeah,
they detangle, and the companies do this all the time. They restructure, and they can just walk away from their debt. They can just be like, oh, yeah, we're just going to cherry pick the stuff that we want, that we know is actually going to make money later, and then we're just going to burn everything else down because it doesn't matter, or sell it off. In this case, I'm going to tell you the truth. Tencent, being a Chinese company, they're not going to be on board with some of the stuff that Ubisoft has been doing, right? They're not. And so this is like a sale, but not quite. Like, it's a heavy investment. Basically, Tencent has to bail their asses out, and they're going to help them on, make these franchises profitable again, because there is a lot of potential with Assassin's Creed if it's done right.
Right, but if they're putting in a big stake and it's a lot of money, then they're going to want to say in what goes into the games, like you mentioned.
Yes.
So they're going to go back to some of the stuff that they put in that people are mad about because they're too pretty or whatever. They're going to want to put to the mass appeal as opposed to the agenda.
Right. And then they can blame Tencent, right? Because that's how they can be Tencent can be the bad guys. Oh, our investors don't like the idea of homoeroticism in an Assassin's Creed game about feudal Japan, and they're not okay really with race swapping characters. And it's blame them, don't blame us, bro. I don't think these guys are going to be around much longer anyway. The family that owns Ubisoft. So this comes from CNBC, and we'll go out to their press release. Ubisoft on Thursday announced it's creating a new gaming subsidiary with Chinese tech giant Tencent investing $1.25 billion into the unit.
Wait, I love it. A new subsidiary that happens to have all the content worth anything.
Right.
From the company. That tells you everything you need to know right there.
So this is what it reminds me of, right? It's like, okay, you always hear about people like burning down their businesses to collect the insurance or whatever. That's what they're doing. They're I think this is just my take on it. They're burning down an unprofitable business, which is Ubisoft, the whole thing. But they're snatching a couple of franchises from the fire because they think they have a future in the right hands.
So what are they going to call it? Ubisofter?
Ubisofter. You be hard. You be hard, man. You be hard. It will focus on building game ecosystems designed to become evergreen and multi-platform.
So they're just going to take these things and make them multi-platform.
Live service games. Yeah.
Yep, that's what it sounds like.
Backed by greater investment and boosted creative capacity, it will drive further increases in quality of narrative solo experiences, expand multiplayer offerings with increased frequency of content release, introduce free-to-play touch points, and integrate more social features. So a bunch of online live service crap from Tencent.
Probably, because that's kind of what they usually do. So, got to get all those little upsales on the, if you want a new outfit for your character. Mm-hmm. If you want it to be harder, then you need to. Sorry.
The investment from Tencent values the new subsidiary at 4 billion euros, Ubisoft said, implying a 4 times multiplier based on its average sales. It highlights the strong value of Ubisoft IP, significantly reinforces its balance sheet, and enables the company to continue its efforts to become a more agile organization, unleash the full creative potential of the teams, and better align its resources with the constantly evolving expectations of players.
So translation is significantly okay. Wait, so it highlights the strong value of the 3 IPs they're keeping.
Yeah,
and then it looks good to the bank because we got an investor just gave us a bunch of money. It's also going to help us, make more stuff that's basically going to be a DLC shit and online stuff. It's translation.
Yeah, pretty much. Earlier in the month, Bloomberg reported the game's publisher was looking to bring in an external investment in a new entity, including some of its core intellectual property. That followed reporting from Bloomberg last year that Tencent was discussing a possible take-private deal with the founding families, and that apparently didn't happen. They don't have any money. This is basically one foot. I mean, not in the grave. It might be that this is the only thing that can save those IP because God knows Ubisoft can't do it. But it's just... Ubisoft, as we've known it, is effectively over because those are the most valuable IP, and they're basically taking them away from Ubisoft and putting them into this new company.
So who's running the subsidiary company?
I don't know. They don't really have a lot of details.
Who's in charge? Yeah, they don't. Who's in charge of that? Because I have got a feeling that, I don't know, but Tencent's putting that much money in it, they're going to want control. And they're going to want more, assurances that they get to walk off with stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know that, but I have to wonder.
So here's the relationship between the new subsidiary and Ubisoft. So it's interesting that they're going to license it to themselves. The new subsidiary would include the teams developing Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry franchises in Montreal, Quebec, Sherbrooke, Barcelona, etc., as well as the back catalog in any new games currently under development. Okay. The new subsidiary would be granted by Ubisoft a worldwide exclusive perpetual license in respect to the intellectual property and similar property rights owned or licensable by Ubisoft related to Rainbow Six, Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry.
In exchange for royalties. So it sounds to me like they're signing it over to Tencent. Because they said, because Ubisoft, they're referring to Ubisoft as a separate entity, which of course they're making another entity, but they're going to, license it to this new group that they're not listed themselves as being in charge of.
Yeah, it says Tencent's going to invest in the new subsidiary, which is headquartered in France and 100% owned by Ubisoft. immediately prior to the transaction. At closing, Tencent would invest a total amount of 1.25 billion US for an approximate 25% economic interest in the new subsidiary that would be used to strengthen Ubisoft's balance sheet by significantly reducing its consolidated net debt position, accelerate the group's transformation, and sustain growth of selected franchises.
Okay, so it sounds like that Ubisoft is still in charge of it, but I just can't see Tencent just doing it out of the goodness of their heart to boost their balance sheet. You know what I mean? There's got to be something. Conditions present, insurance of fairness option, completion of the carve out to create a new subsidiary, and orientation of necessary regulatory clearances. I don't know. I'm just telling you, I don't think Tencent's only just going to give them money and say silent for 25%.
No, I don't think so.
You wouldn't need a new subsidiary for that. You would not need a new subsidiary for that.
Well, here we go. This is it. The new subsidiary would have to have a dedicated leadership team supervised by a board of directors focused on enhancing creative vision and streamlining operations with the authority to make swift, high-impact decisions across development, marketing, and distribution to ensure these brands continue to evolve, attract new audiences, and deliver groundbreaking gaming experiences. Tencent would benefit from customary minority protection veto rights, as well as certain consent rights on the disposals of the important new subsidiary assets. Other provisions in relations to Tencent's shareholding in the new subsidiary: a 5-year lockup undertaking on new subsidiary shares held by Tencent unless Ubisoft no longer owns a majority of new subsidiary voting rights and share capital. Ubisoft may not cease to hold a majority of new subsidiary voting rights for a 2-year period. Customary share transfer. Here's why I think
phasing it out. Ubisoft's keeping the charge for 2 years, and after 2 years, Tencent can take it over because they have to hold the rights for 2 years, and then they can release it.
Call
That's how
option.
It sounds.
Yeah, call option to the benefit of Ubisoft and put option to the benefit of Tencent in the event of certain change of control of Ubisoft approved by the board of directors. It's one foot in the grave. They're basically selling. How I'm reading this, I could be wrong. How I am reading this is right now it's going to be a Ubisoft controlled thing. They're doing it. So it's like, oh, look, don't panic the investors. Okay,
look at our balance sheet. It's going to help our balance sheet.
It's going to help the balance sheet. But really what they're doing is they're selling the assets that are worth something to Tencent. And I think before it's all said and done, Tencent will own free and clear, probably Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow
I don't know.
Six.
It sounds, that's what I was thinking, because Tencent's not going to just do this just to help them out, you know? And they're spending that much money and they have that much of a stake in it. I knew that it had to be, they have to have more control than just, we're going to sit back and let you do what you want and keep letting you like hemorrhage money. And so, I knew they would have had to have some kind of plan in place with new leadership and a new board, which probably have members of both groups on it. And then they're going to be like, why spin it off at all if you weren't going to eventually phase it out to a different company? So this makes sense.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen is we'll still technically have Ubisoft, but I don't think they're going to have anything that's going to be worth anything. So the family, is it Guillaume? Is that how you pronounce it?
I should know because I speak French somewhat.
But they're still going to have their Ubisoft, but it's not going to have anything of value. But it kind of reminds me of Henson. It kind of reminds me of the Jim Henson company. Because this is so for those of you who don't follow the Disney stuff and the Muppet stuff, whatever, the Jim Henson company at one point in time owned everything, free and clear that was related to the Muppets and Fraggle Rock and Dark Crystal and all that. And then Disney Sesame Workshop bought the Sesame Street characters like free and clear. I forget what the deal was with them. Like they licensed them out or something to Children's Television Workshop. Sesame Workshop bought those characters. So they own those characters. And then Disney came in and they cherry picked. They wanted the Muppets. So they bought just the Muppets characters, but they don't own Fraggle Rock. They don't want Fraggle Rock. And I think Fraggle Rock's tied up with like Apple now, but really all Henson has left now. The Jim Henson company still exists, but they just have the Fraggles maybe, and like Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and all the stuff that wasn't Muppets and Sesame Street. So they sold off the most valuable assets to the highest bidder because as I understand, the kids after Jim Henson died didn't want to deal with it.
So and that's what it sounds to me like. Yeah, they're trying to either sell it to Tencent and get out of it, or they're just going to try to offload debt and stuff that isn't working with that one company, but it'd be on Ubisoft, and they'd have to sell Ubisoft or bankrupt Ubisoft to get rid of it. So I don't know, because they're not usually they'll make a spin-off company and hoist the debt to that, but that's not what they're doing, I don't think.
Yeah, so this is, and I love how the CEO is putting it, like, don't panic, guys, everything's fine. No, it's not fine, and I think everybody knows it's not fine.
Quick,
hey,
panic.
everybody.
No, I'm kidding.
Panic. Insider Gaming has this. Panic. Hello, everyone. Pleased to share an important announcement that will mark a milestone in Ubisoft's history following a process to review different strategic options for Ubisoft's future. Well, I thought Assassin's Creed was selling so well, guys. We have just signed an exceptional agreement with one of our trusted shareholders, Tencent, to whom we have a solid relationship. The $1.25 billion investment will benefit all of Ubisoft. Bullshit. We're going to pull away the best IP and leave the crap with Ubisoft proper. We'll be able to firmly take back control of our future and renew with the serenity needed to create the best games. Why didn't you do that before? If you had done that in the first place, if you had created the best games in the first place, not pissed the players off in the first place, you wouldn't have to sell your asses to Tencent.
No.
But
I'm sorry, take an investment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
With a bunch of ownership, you know.
Did you ever see Cheers, where they had to sell part of the bar, and that's where Rebecca came in?
I probably did as a kid, but I don't remember.
Fridays. Yeah. The terms of this partnership are straightforward. We will establish a dedicated subsidiary within Ubisoft for now that will bring together our three most powerful franchises, everything that's worth something that we actually own: Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry. And they're going to gather the teams working on those brands. Tencent's going to become a 25% shareholder, but they have the option. I mean, if I'm reading that correctly, they basically, if the board of directors approves it, Tencent can actually get more control of it. And I think that's probably the long-term plan.
Yeah, after 2 years.
After a couple of years.
Transition.
It's a transitionary period.
Yeah, they're saying here that the aim is to boost these franchises so they become undisputed global icons.
Yeah, so we're going to do like shitty mobile apps, and yeah. It's going to give us the means to accelerate, means to pay our bills, the means to accelerate the changes we've been discussing for several months across the group, changes that many of you have been longing for, as revealed by the Ubisoft XP survey. These changes are in line with the initiatives. Yeah, guys, this is what we're talking about. We said that we need to change our direction. This is what we meant. No, this is one foot in the fucking grave.
Well, wait, it's interesting. These changes are in line with the initiatives that Marie Sophie has been sharing recently, which aim to put the creation of unique games and player satisfaction back at the heart of our daily work. This will enable us to return to a higher level of profitability. So stop putting your own, OCs and, bullshit narratives in the game. We got to go back to making unique games that people actually want to play and they're happy to play. That's basically what that translates to.
And this also explains why they're pushing so hard. Well, why they're pushing so hard for Assassin's Creed Shadows, because if this deal, they were working on the papers, going back and forth, these things don't happen overnight. This is probably months and months and months of back and forth. And Tencent, they're probably like the dollar amount that they were committing to probably depended on how Assassin's Creed Shadows did.
I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah.
Because it's curbside appeal, guys. It's curbside appeal. Like you when you sell a business, you want to sell a business ideally that is profitable, so the person pays the most amount of money. You know what I'm saying? If Assassin's Creed Shadows landed with a thud, which depending on who you asked, it kind of sort of did, but not really. If it did, then they'd be like, okay, we're not giving you $1.25 billion. We're going to give you like $500,000, take it or leave it, because that's all this is worth. And that's what's going on. So this is I'm telling you guys, this is one foot in the effing grave. So what they'll do is they'll move all the good stuff that they have, that they think, over to this new company, and then they'll probably just wind down Ubisoft. Well, okay, it's like freaking Fox, right? It's just like Fox with the Comcast deal. Rupert Murdoch sold all the 20th Century Fox assets up until that point to Disney. So they got all the old stuff, the Aliens and the old Simpsons and all that stuff. And then, but the Fox company still existed. They kept Fox News, and then they just started making new shows.
Yeah, technically they could do that if they don't go under, but it sounds to me like they're taking everything worth it. Taking everything worth it and putting in this new subsidiary, which it's like if I were working there, I'd be like, oh, I mean, it might work to your advantage if you're on those games, but if you're not, you're kind of screwed. Well,
or the next thing, they're basically trying to give people a sense of security. So the next thing will be, Okay, guys. Well, now that we're reorganizing, it's really painful, but for the good of the company, we're going to have to lay all of you off, and we're bringing in Chinese teams to do Assassin's Creed.
Because I guarantee you that Tencent's not going to go along with it unless they have their teams on it too. So they'll be like, yeah, they said most of it will be left where it is, but that doesn't mean every job will be.
Well, I mean, look at what happened with Marvel Rivals. These Chinese gaming studios. I mean, they're going to look at what the players want. Oh, you want hot, sexy, leather-clad, jiggle-ass, jiggle-boob ninja ladies, and you'll pay for that? Sure, we'll give it to you.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do. Like, oh my God, I would love to see like full-on anime-style Assassin's Creed Shadows. Or Assassin's Creed, not Shadows, but like an Assassin's Creed game that's just like full on, just anime style, just ridiculous.
I don't know if people are going to want that.
Assassin's Creed titties, and it's just like bouncy.
They're not going to call it Assassin's Creed titties.
They would sell so many copies of Assassin's Creed titties.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to call it Assassin's Creed titties.
That would be great.
Just saying. Come on, let's be realistic here.
Okay. Assassin's Creed jugs.
No.
Mommy milkers.
Are you gonna make this whole video about names for boobs?
Yes. Why not? So this explains it too, why they don't give a shit. The Assassin's Creed Shadows official X account was going after Elon Musk, and they were kind of teaming up with Hassan Piker, and they were going after him on X.
Oh, of course they are. They're very, very of a certain persuasion, and they don't like that he's saying stuff.
Oh, I think they're gone. I think they know they're, because if they're the social media managers now for Assassin's Creed, and they're part of like Ubisoft proper, and then by the time they get done spinning Assassin's Creed off into this Tencent thing, they're probably not going to be there anymore. So they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit.
But it was actually kind of funny what they said.
It was kind of funny.
I mean, I don't really like Elon Musk that much. I mean, I like some of the things he does, but I just don't like him that much. But it was kind of, their comeback was pretty funny. I have to credit where it's due, but
yeah, it's so that, I mean, this all makes so much sense now. Why are they trying to make the numbers look as good as possible even when they're clearly not good? Because this deal is in play. Why does the social media manager not give a shit and is going on a tear against Elon Musk? Because they don't care. They know they're done. But we might get Assassin's Creed titties out of it.
Where did I get Assassin's Creed titties?
It's China. If they were smart. Tencent, just give me a couple $1 million and just say, hey, Kneon, do you think this is a good idea? And I'll say yes or no, and then you can just wire me some money. Think about it.
Yeah, if everybody did that, there are a lot of companies would be like
so rich,
in better positions than they are now. But we'd have a lot of money. But
we'd be a consulting firm. We'd be the anti-Sweet Baby Inc. We'd be like the other side of it. We'd be like, okay, what do players actually want? Oh, they want titties and gore, and they don't want in-app purchases. And
we'll be the Smart Baby Inc.
Smart Baby Inc. There we go. All right, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
All right, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.